Okay, so it seems like the Genshin Impact voice actor situation has gotten even worse. Now, obviously, this was a post up on r/Genshin Impact, which says Mugen's video about the SAG-AFTRA situation, which obviously, if you know Mugen creates a lot of really great content. Obviously, started out in the kind of Genshin Impact sphere and the Gacha sphere in general, and now has moved on to some kind of wider stuff like VTubers and also, you know, the situation with South Korea, everything like that. So again, you know, he's kind of branched out his content quite a bit, but he's back for another one on Genshin Impact, which has absolutely been amazing. It's been an hour and 40-minute long video, pretty much talking about the entire situation, from explaining the strikes to also going into a lot of the drama and situations that we saw over on Twitter, TikTok, and all of these different kind of social media platforms that these creators and that these voice actors are crushing out on, which was, again, really, really funny to see. And obviously, this has been picked up by the Genshin Impact community, and they posted it over in the subreddit, which hasn't been taken down. Bear in mind, this is the unofficial subreddit itself. They say, I'll be honest, up until now, I was damn confused and stupid about the entire thing. Even though I looked it up online, reading and watching about it, I was overwhelmed. It was overwhelming, sorry. But after watching his vid, not gonna lie, I understand it now. What do you think about the vid? Now, obviously, I'll go into what, you know, the general consensus of this video was, but also there's another kind of factor to this entire thing, being the fact that Genshin Impact also actually released their feedback survey, which again, if you don't know, a feedback survey is essentially something that, you know, these games release in the mail or whatever in the game in a notice where players can go and, you know, fill stuff out and pretty much, you know, tell the developers, this is what I want to change in the game. Now, in Genshin Impact's terms, they never really actually listen to it. They never actually kind of like take into account any of the feedback they get. But what the funniest thing is we're starting to see a lot of people being not very happy with the voice actors, even people, you know, who are diehard Genshin Impact fans, actually putting into the survey, please remove the Paimon voice actor. There was actually a post on r/Genshin Impact itself, which ended up getting deleted, which was a shame because I really wanted to show you. But it seems like, you know, a lot of other people, especially in the replies here, also had the same kind of thinking, where they're asking for the voice actors to be replaced for Paimon, Keqing, and also another one, I forgot who it was. But yeah, they've done all of this stuff. And, you know, if you want to look back through my previous videos, I've covered everything that these voice actors have done. And there's been even more stuff which has been kind of dotted around on places like Blue Sky, Twitter, TikTok. And, well, I don't really want to go through it all right now because, again, it's all kind of disjointed. And I want to get all the information together so that we can actually cover it in one kind of coherent video. Because, again, the fact that, you know, these people are going around and posting these little tidbits all over on these different social medias, it just shows you how unprofessional they are and how unprofessional, you know, they've been during this entire situation. You know, the best thing is just to ignore it and go ahead and just keep doing your job, or not doing your job if you're striking, I guess. But, you know, they don't do that. They go onto, you know, Twitter, TikTok, crash out over, you know, different creators, crash out over different, you know, kind of situations going on. And it's just like, okay, do we really need to be acting like this? Especially if you are an official voice actor who's supposed to be a professional. You just don't look very professional right now. And obviously, yeah, people in the comments are also fed up saying, well, this person says Mugen might not be pregnant, but he always delivers, which is absolutely crazy. But this person says, new Genshin survey just dropped yesterday. I have a feeling the feedback question at the end is finally going to get such a people actually using it instead of leaving it blank as usual. Yeah, that's definitely true. Usually at the end of the surveys, there's this little blank box which says like any more feedback or something like that. And usually, especially me as well, I just like kind of leave it because I can't really think of anything. I just want the free awards from it. And, you know, I just want to answer all the questions that they want to know. But I feel like this time, they want to know what you want to, you know, see changes in the game. And I think a lot of these messages are going to be replace the voice actor. Obviously, this person said, I did use it specifically to point out Bodka and Mill's atrocious behaviors, which is obviously Keqing and Paimon's voice actor. And they say, and asking for a recast or at least at some point a public post about not tolerating workplace harassment. There are others who I feel who are really strongly against, but these two in particular definitely need to face some form of consequence. Boga needs to go outside for a while now. They're constantly getting involved in fandom drama and being downright nasty to fans for stupid reasons. Then falling back on their disability whenever they get called out, which, yeah, it's definitely true, you know. This is something that Karina has been doing quite a bit, is like kind of going after people, and then as soon as things go wrong, just kind of falling back on a disability, which I know it is tough, you know, obviously having a disability and things, but kind of falling back on it just because, you know, you don't want to get involved in the situation that you set up for yourself anymore. It's just kind of like, you know, the best kind of solution for that, especially if it is flaring up stuff with your disability, is just to step away from the internet. I mean, if it's really that bad, get off your phone. Like it's really that simple. And you know, that's why I don't have much empathy, because it is really that easy just to get off your phone and just to continue doing your job. It's not hard. Like, honestly, it's really not that hard. And obviously they say, lol, yes, it's the first time I used it in forever. Going to be real with you, Chief, many voice actors don't know about this, let alone Genshin players. The fact that Mihoyo hasn't done any statement just proves how much of a nothing burger all of this is, which I do think is slightly true. I feel like Mihoyo just don't really care at all about anything to do with this kind of strike, whether it's the kind of voice actors crashing out or whether it's to do with, you know, people striking. You know, we see that, you know, they have the ability just to replace people. They replace the Kenichi voice actor, so maybe in the future they'll replace some of these other voice actors if they don't continue work. But obviously, you know, voice actors like Paimon's voice actor are still doing work for them, which, you know, is absolutely crazy. And obviously that's one of the reasons that people were so mad in the first place. They're saying, haha, I was wondering why everyone got so quiet lately. They say, why is everyone going so quiet about it? Could be nothing new worth talking about, or just a general loss of interest, which is true. A lot of people have been moving over to Blue Sky, and they say, yeah, many people have been moving over to Blue Sky, but some are still over here. As you can see here, over on Blue Sky, there's been all of this stuff going on. I covered this in a previous video, obviously them being very weird towards Jacob Takanashi and saying that this guy is actually of English/Irish origin, and he's not actually Japanese, and that's why we should attack him even further. It's like, just because he's not Japanese fully, you know, he's got a Japanese family and everything. It's just so dumb. And obviously, yeah, they keep going on and on and on. And there's also like even more tweets over on Blue Sky as well of like Karina calling people far right just for disagreeing with her. It's just like, come on, you know, you're not far right just because you disagree with someone. It's a completely different thing. And obviously they're blowing things way out of proportion, which again just kind of shows you how kind of unprofessional these people are and how actually unprofessional they are in these kind of situation like this. It's just like, brother, just get off the internet. It's really that easy. Also, they're saying, also probably some higher ups in the union, it's finally telling them to shut up and keep things low, which could also be true as well. Obviously, as I said, there hasn't been that much content apart from other little kind of tweets and other little Blue Sky, you know, posts coming out, which again, it's just like, you know, there's nothing really to cover there. So that's why a lot of people aren't really talking about the situation. Now, yeah, obviously if Karina was to drop an absolute banger of a video and, you know, kind of, you know, attack people or whatever, then yeah, maybe there will be a little bit of a kind of resurgence of this entire drama in general. But so far, there hasn't really been much else that's really come out apart from those tweets that I mentioned. And they say, I don't watch videos, but the posts and comments are very informative. They're linking to another post. I don't know if links are allowed, but here's the video. Can someone please tell me what it's about? It's an hour long. And obviously, yeah, they say his video, Soreness, essentially covers the same thing. It includes the history about the US and unions and stuff like that, which again, I do think it's actually very good for Mugen. I think that, you know, obviously a lot of people don't have context on unions in general and how they work. Some people don't even know what a union is. So going into the actual history, like outside of SAG-AFTRA, outside of the Genshin Impact stuff, and going into the history of US unions, it's actually kind of informative. And I feel like, you know, that does help people with their understanding of what is going on and can help them form a better opinion, which honestly, I think is a great move from Mugen there to include that in his video. They say, Mugen talking about something Genshin related, the world is healing, which obviously, I don't know what that's about. You know, Mugen has always covered Genshin related stuff, especially whenever it goes really bad. But again, you know, Mugen always comes out whenever stuff gets pretty rough with this kind of drama. And they say that was actually pretty good. It's wild seeing someone compile the whole drama into one video, especially if you're experiencing those events in real time. Which, yeah, obviously, like me, Hirohei, some other people have been covering these videos as it's been going on, you know? We haven't, you know, made one big kind of piece like Mugen has, which, you know, has been very informative and just, you know, all in one, which has been very useful. We've actually been going one by one as it has been going on and covering each of this stuff, which has been, yeah, a kind of blast to cover through, which is, yeah, maybe there will be even more videos come out in the future, which would be nice to make a video on. They say basically union VAs are striking for no reason at all, striking for AI protections. They've already done that, striking for better pay. They're already getting union rates anyways. They sneakily tried to use this momentum of the actual video game strike to kind of strong arm Hoyo, which again, is crazy. And obviously, yeah, people are saying it's a banger vid. So the overall positive kind of reception, you know, has been great. in the Genshin Impact community, and it seems like people are on the side of Mugen. People are on the side of, you know, just being against the voice actors and being just stupid online. And I feel like this is definitely a good step forward in the Genshin Impact community, especially as, you know, there has been a lot of stuff with Wuthering Waves and things. I've talked about this in a separate video on my main channel if you guys want to go see that, talking about some Genshin Impact fans not being happy with Wuthering Waves and being just toxic. This is a little bit of a kind of breath of fresh air, seeing like Genshin Impact fans actually being kind of open to the fact that, you know, there are things wrong with the game, there are things wrong with these voice actors, and, you know, they should be removed, and, you know, there should be changes coming to Genshin Impact. So again, we'll have to wait and see if there's anything or any news come out from HoYoverse, from Genshin Impact, or however, pretty much talking about the situation, whether it's, you know, kind of asking for an apology, or whether it's kind of, I guess, like firing them just straight up. I mean, I would prefer, you know, just for them to be gone, because again, it seems like they are pretty mentally, you know, ill in a sense, because, you know, they're constantly over on Twitter, constantly over on Blue Sky, and it's just like, okay, this is a little bit concerning, especially when it's affecting your health, you know. Obviously, for example, like Kaylee, you know, she doesn't have that much of a problem, you know, she can tweet all she wants, but, you know, Karina is having a physical effect on them, and it's just like, you know, I think it gets to a point where if it's having a physical effect on you, maybe you should just get off, get off your phone, get off your like Twitter, get off whatever. It's just like, bro, maybe not, but hey, yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty crazy situation. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and on Squid Game subs, use my code CASA, get 10% off. Yeah, they got some really cool stuff over there, so I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Crazy situation.